Hello everyone. So you probably have heard Michael D. Higgins or the Taoiseach Leo, a good friend Leo Varadkar. Even though I don't have much time for them, I do agree with them on this point that they should probably ban homework or limit it to a very limited extent, as they do in other countries. Now I make my argument now. I know some parents will probably say, "Oh no, I want my child to be this, that, and the other," because there's always them parents. But I explain my argument now. Like a child goes to school in the morning, it's secondary and primary. They go to school in the morning. They spend a good majority of the day. If you think about secondary school, some schools start at 8. Some of them do. Some of them start at 9, and to 5. To 4 in the evening. That's a good while. That's a good while to have to be in a class load and stuff. And it's a lot on a young person. There's a lot on a young person to have to listen to a teacher for hours and hours on end. It's not difficult. I'm sure it's difficult. It is difficult. Uh, because again, you're doing nothing. Nowadays, I'm sure people agree, our education system is the most backward probably fucking education system you could come up with in the world. Because there's no investment in advancing education in the country. Because obviously computers and stuff like that play a crucial role nowadays in life. And obviously that's not really present in the Irish curriculum in education. But that's on a different subject. But long story short is they spend the majority of the day at school. And you know what, in my opinion, a child should, a teenager and things like that, should come home in the evening and relax. And I do think parents nowadays put too much pressure on children to study and study and study. And it's obviously good to study a bit, but I've heard of children studying for hours and hours, and even when they come home from school after studying all day, that they come home in the evening. And for the rest, even to study and study and study. And that's not good for anybody. Go out and about. And I think it will encourage. I know people would say that they probably play the video games and stuff like that if they didn't have homework and stuff like that. Not necessarily. It might encourage them go out and about, have a walk, go for one, maybe possibly. Again, hopefully speaking, but it would be beneficial because again, as I say, it's the same as we go to work now to pay our way. We don't. Well, the majority. Well, I come home in the evenings. I can't really speak on that behalf because I come home from work and go back to the same thing I usually do at work. But generally speaking, many people who come home from work basically, they do maybe bits and bobs around the house, but they don't go out and do the same thing they do every day. Like me, I just kind of put my own pipe. But anyway, but you know what I'm saying. They need a bit of time. They can't be fucking on the go all the time. They can't be doing that. It's not very fair. And I'm sure as a young person speaking, you don't find the years going by. And it's about being again going out and living your life too as a young person, because again you don't find the time passing by. And as I said before, I talked about this way in the past before about Finland and Finland. I always on about the Finland. Now before even Sean Mack comes along with his usual comments, like Finland for the last, I think it's 1980 or 1990, it's just a banned homework basically in Finland. They were like, no child's getting homework. But in Finland, again, the education system, it's actually the best in the world. It's insane. They have less hours and children do better in school and stuff like that. They do better. They have no homework and they have less hours than the Irish education, and they do more. And have no tests and stuff like that. But the children learn more than they do. They're not even there half of the day, and they're there for 4 hours, maybe 4 hours, 3 hours a day, and they learn more and they do better than Irish students. And Irish students looking at books all day and every day. Like, it's incredible stuff. Like, it's a really unique education system. And many other things, it's incomprehensible. If we look at in Finland's education system compared to the Irish education system, I don't think we believe it, to be totally honest, because it's leading the world, to be totally honest, uh, in terms of what it's doing. Because I think the Irish education system is too based on tests. I know people would say tests are important. Of course, they are important for different things. But the way it's kind of hyped up nowadays, the Leaving Cert and Junior Cert, years ago was just like, oh, it's a piece of paper. That's the way I seen it. But for a lot of people, that piece of paper is about getting into college and stuff like that. And I think I like the Finnish system where nobody is better on paper. Everybody's the same. It doesn't matter. And I think that's more because it puts a lot of strain on young people. I've seen people with my year and other years literally crumbling with the stress of not getting enough leaving so points to go for this and that and the other. And again, making yourself literally maybe lose 3 or 4 years of your life with stress and worry. Because stress and worry kills a lot of people. You might not think it, but a lot of people do die of stress and worry every year. worrying about the next bill coming in or anything like that. It does kill a lot of people. Stress and worry does kill. It does wear you down. And I know that for somebody that worries a good bit. It does wear you down. It does bring you down, and it does reduce your life expectancy. Because if you worry a lot too, it does kind of take a burden on you, and it's hard to describe. But I'm sure people would understand if you do worry about things. You kind of can get what I describe, but yeah, I do think it's beneficial because again, children shouldn't have to come home in the evenings and do the same thing as they done in school. And again, it's a bit stupid. Again, as I say, and another thing about the topic too, is they shouldn't be carrying around. I remember when I was in first year, you could ask many people in my first year at school too. When I was in first year in secondary school, the fucking amount of books we used to have to carry home about homework and stuff like that. You nearly fucking need a council lorry to lift the fucking books home, and I mean literally, the bags are literally fucking so heavy. I've lifted fridges out of shocks that were more lighter than fucking the books I used to lift home from school. And that's being totally honest with you. I remember one time lifting fucking bricks in a bag, lifting them out of a shock to find out what there was in it. And they were more better than the fucking books. Who and bastard true cap, man. But you know yourself, it shouldn't be the case. It really probably should be. Students should have a laptop to be told. I think they should really get rid of writing and stuff like that, and have it all modern. Because again, it's all about modern. And I do think it should focus on doing your own research. Again, that's what we should focus on more. People should look into things more themselves, not being kind of spoon fed. And it's kind of the way we should look at it. We shouldn't trust the mainstream media and stuff like that. Obviously Norman Foley won't agree with that, but that's the way they should be. They should be given the means to, because again, majority everything is done now online. So it'd be beneficial to have a tablet or have a computer instead of using books. Again, I think books are senseless. If you just to carry around a tablet and you can learn your studies and you can fill in pages. Because again, I've done it when I was during the lockdowns and stuff like that. I had school online because I was doing the Leaving Cert. And there was pages you could fill in. You fill in, say it's you're reading a novel, and it asks what happened to this scene. Did Mary jump through the window? What happened? And there'd be a blank line, and you can fill it in out on your tablet. I think that's the way we should go, because again, that's the way they do it in Finland. Again, our education system's in fucking Timbuktu. It needs to be constantly reformed, but I think this is a step in the right direction. I know I keep going on about it, but I have to explain all the details. But I do agree with them on this. Children do get far too much homework, and it does. You could even ask my father and mother, like especially when I was in first year and second year, it was a lot of homework. When I went and taught you, it wasn't too bad. But when I done LC, I didn't have anything. But it was fucking bad now when I went in the first year. It was fucking terrible. I used to get, particularly geography, I used to have geography on the Friday, and on the weekend you had homework, and it was not fair for the weekend. And it would be a lot. You have to draw up maps and fucking diagrams of the earth and everything like that. And these would have to be the most detailed things that the teacher would not accept a half-assed diagram. You have to literally you literally have to go to NASA and ask NASA, can you use the satellite to look and see every little detail of the earth? And to literally put it in specs, like literally go with specs and individually put specs on the earth of when there was a storm and things like that. Like literally, that was the detail, and that's obviously too much, and especially in the weekend too. I like again, as I say, young people should have a bit of a break, because again, as I say, it's all go nowadays. Years ago wasn't such a thing as all go. You had your life, you had a life basically. Nowadays it's just all whoosh, do this, that, move, one, jog, one, here, there, everywhere, way. That shouldn't be the case, but that's the way we live. But that's what I think, and I do agree with Preston, because even though I don't like him, I do like Leo, but and I suppose the feelings mutual a bit, but anyway, but I do agree with them on this. It would probably be beneficial to children. Thank you.